finding an opportunity that there's different avenues for looking at a grant writer. And before I do a lot more research and a lot more getting information, I kind of wanted to get a feel for what you all thought.
You're saying grant writer for solid waste?
No, grant writer for the whole shebang.
Are there any retirees in the village that have experience with that?
See, that's my thought. I wanted to get a feel for it if you all were on board with that, so I could do a little research as to.
I don't want to hire anybody. If we can get a grant writer that what they're not volunteers, but generally the grant writers, commercial grant writers, they get a percentage of whatever the grant is, and that's usually built into the grant.
Right.
Currently, you have one right down the hall right here. Yes, Kathy Probst right for the schools, and we could potentially piggyback off on her and give her that option that if you get us something, then you get the 2%. There's a standard fee that's built into those grant writers. Tracy Blair is also in the process of hiring more people. She might put that on the resume. Whoever comes, they also need to be able to write grants. But to hire a full-time grant writer would be a very expensive and may never pay off kind of a.
And I'm not saying full-time, I'm just trying to get some ideas as to, because I think we are missing out on several opportunities for money.
Well, if they operate on a percentage, that sounds like it'd be a lucrative opportunity.
It's very, well, it's depending on what the grant is.
Yeah.
They can.
The county doesn't
Our two
have.
departments are EMA and solid waste is our big grants, and they write, East Tennessee Development they'll direct check over, I know for Chris at the recycling centers.
Right.
Check over his, Darryl writes most of his own, and I think as far as county goes, that's about the extent of it.
The county doesn't
That's
have
the
a lot
trend,
of
though.
grant
Yeah.
opportunities. And 99% of the grants that come, when you're just out hunting wildwood grants, they come with many times large, matching funds to go with it. So sometimes, a big amount of money is not always that good. We got to come up with $50,000 or $60,000, and of course, if it's federal, it's always got massive strings tied to it. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't invest money. Try to find somebody that'll go percentage, or get on with Kathy Probst or something, or tell Tracy to hire somebody that can ride it down her hall there. She's got a lot of time. Tracy can do it.
Oh yeah, Tracy's got plenty of things on now, right? So, what I'm asking you is if I get some more information and look into this and bring it back and present to you all. If you will be open-minded about this, because I know we've got some different areas like, our volunteer rescue squad.
I've got a whole folder that Marshall Blackman's liaison brought on my desk. It's all federal, but there's some of those grants I've never even heard of. There's a lot I ain't heard of, but there's a lot in there as well.
So you would be open for me to bring back something?
You're an elected official, come back to a workshop, tell us what you have.
Okay.
I'll be talking with a lady that is doing a lot of work with the opioid crisis, and there's going to be a ton of money coming down the pipe that might benefit the county and the sheriff's office as well.
Okay. All right, so you have letter of proposed modifications, so I'm gonna let Steve do a little talking. All right, guys, get with us. Order.
Thank you, Kelly. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. This is going to be a long night for everybody.
You're going to have to shave. I can't even look at you.
I can hardly recognize you.
It's a secondary coffee filter.
Must be a bad contractor going in.
Hey, y'all, listen, 5th District, y'all pay attention.
So
He's a good guy.
So I want to just come back to the board, to the commission, and let you know that we've been making some progress in our negotiations with Santec. You've got a brief outline, a synopsis of where we're at currently. We don't have a final contract yet, but we're probably going to have that hopefully at our next meeting that the board can approve. I think the highlights of this whole endeavor, I'd start with saying that these negotiations have been to address some of the shortcomings in our current contract. And through that process, working with Santec, they're interested in running the landfill for a longer period of time. I realize that gives great heartburn to some folks in the county. Santec, overall, I think, does a fairly good job. Clearly, we have issues with the mud on the road. But in terms of the normal operation of the landfill, I think they do a fairly good job. A couple things that are the highlights to the synopsis that you have in the packet. It says the time extension through December 31st, 2038. That would be the maximum time to fill that particular expansion that we're talking about. Based on our current volumes, we expect the contract to be fulfilled in probably 2035 or 2036 is our reasonable guess based on our current projections. The modification would include a 27-acre expansion, and that would give us 67 acres total permitted. But the agreement will have Santec filling 53 acres. And the big take home here is that Santec would not only fill the 53 acres, but they would pay for the closure of that 53 acres. They're going to increase our host fee from 4% to 5.5%. And the security fee will remain the same at $1 or 5%. The other thing that they're doing is in one of the reasons why the finances of this thing is being driven, or the extent of it, is because we're looking at reducing the final elevation of the landfill to 1,093 feet. It's currently about 1,070 feet. It's a little bit taller than what it is now. And making that adjustment from the original airspace to reducing the elevation to 1,092 feet, they're losing about 900,000 cubic yards of potential airspace capacity. And so, based on losing that airspace capacity, Santec was asking for running the contract for a longer period of time, which is what was driving this. The other thing that Santec is going to be putting in is a automatic pressurized wheel wash system to hopefully address the mud that's coming off the road.
I haven't seen any mud up in our district, have you? It's been pretty clean up there.
We're right next to the landfill.
Just make an appointment from Korean South of the river.
The other thing that Santec is going to be doing is posting a bond, a performance bond, so that it would relieve the mayor from having to sign a letter every year to the state comptroller's office.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge right there.
And the bond would cover, the performance bond would cover the closure cost of the 53 acres. So that's, again, that's something that Santec is paying for out of their proceeds.
I've wanted that going for 20 years.
So that's a piece, that's
Fantastic.
a piece of the puzzle, that's a piece of the puzzle.
And I don't think the mayor, you're not happy about that, I don't think.
Which part?
The bond?
I don't mind signing my name except for that.
That's the big one.
So again, you have, I think, the letter that we sent the mayor back in July. It gives more detail, gives more information about the dollars and cents going back and forth. You've got the synopsis. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Do we have a vote? We don't even vote on this, do we?
No.
No, we're just asking if there's something that
Do you have any concern?
see that you have a concern.
Not at 8:45.
I wanted,
It's an act.
can I ask a question of a, Pat,
Yes. it's-
what do you,
it's
what are your
to cover.
concerns
Close the landfill. Tell me.
on this deal? What do you know? Do you have any concerns on?
On this? Yes, I would not approve it.
I'm just curious, why? I thought you, if you had a concern, I'd just like to hear it.
I think that since we are talking about extending the time, I think that it should go out to bid and we should look at other companies. We had one gentleman a number of years ago that came. He's in the competitive field of management. And he said he could make money. And I would be interested in finding out what he could do for us, because to me, there's an inequity when Santec has taken $40 million to Cleveland and we have only received 10% of that. It is, and they wanted another contract and then changed recently. So, no, I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's time to put it out to bid.
But you can't, we're still in a contract. This is contract
Yeah, we're
modification.
still
Right.
under
That's
contract.
true, but we don't have to give them additional
The
years.
choice we have is to do nothing now and wait it out till when?
2027.
2027, then we could go out to bids. But from now to 2027, whatever benefits are of this contract amendment, we're not gonna see. And for me, to get the bond off, I've preached on that one for years, getting that bond out of our name. That releases up from all closure and post-closure. Santec's got it for life on that one.
Well, now be mindful that that's not exactly true. You have what you're essentially you're getting is an insurance policy.
Right.
And you're counting on the insurance policy being valid
Well, sure.
when you need it.
Sure,
Now,
that's the whole
part
idea.
of what we're gonna have to do in terms of our due diligence is to make sure it's a valid bond and that it stays in force.
Surely they wouldn't do that.
If you talk to the folks at TDEC, they will tell you long sad stories, recent long sad stories about when TDEC has had to go to a closed facility and they went to collect the bond and the bond wasn't there.
We'll make sure Kelly stays on top of that until 2030, 20 what,
But we're
2031?
gonna have to do a better job than we do with buildings.
38.
That's exactly right.
So again, you've got a long night ahead of you, I just wanted to give you an update, answer your questions, Dave.
Steve, let's say that Santec goes belly up. Is there gonna be a bond there that will protect the county?
Well, if they take this insurance, it will be.
But
Yeah.
but with them going belly up, will that make sure, or assure us that we're gonna be protected?
So like
We
pay
did
the
the loss insurance.
Like the premium through 38.
prepay the premium through the closure. Right?
That would be a
We
lot of
couldn't
money.
have
But-
good track record.
You know, I guess,
No, we have
list your concerns and get them to us. You know, if you
Yes.
have a concern about how to structure the bond, you know, we want to hear that.
Yes, please, let us know, because I gave you this letter several weeks ago, and I didn't hear anything from anybody, so we need to kind of know, because we'll have another meeting next month.
You had to get out of your sick bed to get that done, didn't
Yeah, I
you? Do the county commission, do we get a monthly free pass to the car wash out there?
did. Wheel watch, don't forget your wheels.
So car, big submarine.
We'll give this car wash some
Any
business.
other questions? Thank you all very much, appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. Adam, read the zoning change.
I was gonna tell you the changes real quick. In 7.080 and 7.090, it says that signs will be put up 5 days of receiving the application. This changes it where it will be 7 days prior to the meetings. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Say it again, please.
Currently, these two, whatever, said that the signage has to be out 7 days after receiving the application. It's being changed where it has to be out 7 days prior to the meeting.
Now, that's a much shorter window in many instances. Jim was talking about that today. And that's a fairly short window of advertising. I think 7's short. I'm not sure it ought not be 10 days or 14 days. What do you think?
10 business days anyway, maybe.
I think the longer the better for people to know what's going
Seven
on.
short. Of course, this is all driven by that whole mess over on 411, Bill, where our law says it has to be out within 5 days of receiving the application. Well, that could be 30 days before the meeting, or it could be 10 days before the meeting. So it's not a real fixed number. I like the fixed number of X number of days, but I don't think 7's enough.
Then what do we want to do?
When you served on planning,
About 10 business days, that's gonna give you, in effect, 2 weeks.
that's 2 weeks. I would come closer to being comfortable with that. Now, this is what their board has recommended, it's a recommendation to us.
All we can do is send it back.
I don't know for sure, I think we can actually go ahead and vote on our thing without sending it back.
And
I
then they can
believe.
approve that.
Yes, and they can approve that. Except they don't even have to approve it. Once we pass it, it makes it final. So maybe somebody, Adam's real good at checking on that, but I think the initial, they have to make a recommendation to us, then we vote on it. But we can vote to alter their recommendation without having to go back through the process. I think 7 days is far too short, so I'm very comfortable with 10 business days, or 14 days, or whatever you wanna call it, because it'll matter how it hits in the week. But essentially, it needs to, public notice needs to be out there at least a couple
There
weeks.
should be a portable lighted sign at the property.
If you could get lights at 95 and 321, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm waiting on.
Are they up yet?
No, I haven't seen them
They
yet.
wasn't up, Saturday, I went by.
We finished
Friday.
about all the paperwork up, haven't
So Adam, what,
we? 95?
Should we vote on it on the 3rd
Yeah.
for 10 days?
Well,
10
we can
business?
discuss it at that time, so I can make a motion if that's.
Yes, it needs, put it on the agenda.
Put it on the agenda.
You can make a motion for whatever you want.
Marty Bradshaw, take us through yours.
Thank you, I shouldn't be longer than an hour and a half.
I'm hoping a couple of
Chief
them come
Hart
off the
still
list.
here?
He is.
Under A, under mine is funded for Loudon County Fire and Rescue new facility. As everybody knows, we built right in the back door there, they can't even get their truck in. We've helped them with the acquisition of some land. I don't think there's necessarily anything to vote on this upcoming meeting, but we have to have a discussion, we have to have it on our horizon of helping the Loudon County Fire and Rescue get their new facility.
Where's the money gonna come from?
That's what we're gonna do, we're gonna use all of our contingency money at the jail, or we're gonna,
You can't use borrowed money,
we can buy that piece of land from them.
Tracy.
We can buy that piece of land.
Not for $500,000, we can't buy that piece of land from them. With borrowed money, you know,
We gotta find something.
well, we'll do something, but we can't use borrowed money.
You got two things on the horizon.
Put you in the
You got you still have the LIBOR funds, the 100.5.
We've committed that. We've committed the 100.5.
All right, and what happens on Center 75 if Jack closes that
That
project?
ain't gonna happen, but that was the other option, we'll
Yeah.
take some of that money. The missing part right here is, we've never actually heard from Bill, we've heard from Buddy a whole lot, and I've heard all kinds of numbers. Why don't you get up, Bill, and kind of tell us where we're at on the dollars? Cause I understand it's gotten
I've
pretty big.
had, I guess, 3 or 4, I guess you call it guesstimations. I've just talked to several contractors. And that, what you said was probably pretty close. It's somewhere anywhere from $500,000 to $800,000 to do what we're wanting to do. And that's what it's looking at.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. I have no idea what your intent to build is, because I can't imagine anything greater than the one you built out in the 5th district at the crossroads. That was a nice building out there.
It is, but the big thing about this one is this one.
Almost.
The big thing about this one is it's gonna be a livable, and we gotta go through a lot more codes, there gotta be sprinklers. I mean, there's just a lot more involved.
What's it gonna take, and Bill will be the first to tell you, keep county government out of his business. He can do a whole lot better
That's true.
if we stay
I
away
can do
from
most
it.
of it by myself, and I was studying this 500 to 800,000. I've talked to a contractor, if the county government did it, you're looking in the 2.5 to 3 million.
Oh yeah, I mean, the more we're involved, the worse it gets. Can you get us, I mean, at this point, you're gonna have to move, I mean, it's coming. Can you get some kind of close numbers? I mean, that's a lot, but if you can get a drawing, here's what it's gonna cost, the square footage cost of that sort of stuff, that gives us a lot better to go on than, I'm with you, I'm comfortable with guesstimations and that sort of stuff, but I know you too, and I know how you operate, and I know you'll be cutting the bone everywhere you can cut the bone.
That you can bet on that. I do everything we do, because we're volunteer, and I try to save
Sure.
the county as much.
And I'll tell anybody anytime, you get 100% of your money back on this. You have an issue at your house, you're gonna have more qualified people show up in your front yard than you shake a stick at.
I
So,
think we've looked at the fish drawings, and, I think the first goal of looking in is the first thing, me and Chief are talking about, getting in the dry. And then everything can.
It was, and we've even discussed, I've just discussed it with Buddy about maybe doing, I gave him one drawing, and it was like 300 and something thousand, y'all probably saw it, it was like a steel, structure, and then, with just a roof on it, that was no sides or anything. But, I think that I can get something better as far as what you're wanting to see.
have you still got more dirt to move?
I had a guy come get about 70 loads out of there.
Is that right?
Just here recently.
Well, last time I was up there, it was, you just haul all this to the jail, but I don't think I've been there since any more's moved, because you still got, when I was there, you still have a lot of dirt.
I still got 200 or 300 loads that's got to be
Where does your, besides what the county funds, for your operation every year, where does the rest of your money come from to operate?
We do a fundraiser every year, but that's about it, and I get about $20,000 or $30,000 from United Way.
You should have got it in there.
And then my mail outs usually average between 60 and 70,000 a year. It's like a 9%.
Are you all considered the fire department for Loudon County?
I'm sorry.
Are you all considered the the fire department
For
for the
this side
county?
of the river, and then Greenback's got their own fire.
Or
Telco
Telco
Village,
Village.
Greenback.
I was mentioning that, you know, they, in order to, for fire protection over there, we pay a subscription
They
fee
do.
every year. And I was wondering if that's something y'all, if you were allowed to do that, or what your status was?
I've looked into that over the past few years. I don't like that option. Personally, I don't like it. I know where they tried to do it in Knoxville, they tried to do it up in Anderson County and stuff, and
Well, it works wonderfully at Greenback.
it went all the way back,
Yeah, it's volunteer. It's 501c. It's an independent.
But I mean, it's a voluntary subscription, I don't.
No, but it costs you more. It costs
If
you-
they show up.
If they show up.
That's-
But like I said, I've never heard anybody have a negative thing to say through the years at Greenback. And it's not a big, it's 75, 90, I don't know. It's not a big subscription. It's, you know.
we asked for $65, and we send it out countywide right now. And like I said, well, I get a 9% return on that. I mean, that's how.
Well, it's something I've never done before, so I guess I figured that. I was just wondering how you all came about, because I know what we give you is not near enough to operate on.
Yeah, we actually hire a company to send those mail outs out. We've got everything on the computer. I can tell you what address gives and what address don't give. And that's what I said. I mean, it's a very small amount of people.
Well, it's a big sell point on our side of the river, because
Did Van
if you've got,
He just gave me the night.
All right, you go Smarty Bridge.
with the fire protection subscription, our homeowners insurance is lowered. If we have, you know, like I said, our fire department meets all the qualifications, plus,
And we do that also, the
plus
ISO.
by taking the subscription, then the insurance company lowers your insurance premium, since you have fire protection for your home. I don't understand why people would be.
That's
averse
not
to that.
always the case. Back when we went through this once before, I went and spoke with my insurance company, and the problem isn't a lack of a fire department, the problem is a lack of water, fire hydrants.
That is the big problem.
If you don't have fire hydrants, you can have fire trucks all day. And in the old days, when they had real metro up on the other end, they didn't have no tanker truck, they didn't have no way to pump. I mean, if they didn't have water, you can't put, that's the problem on our end.
I wanna help him, I want him to get to where he's
Yes.
been, I'm just wondering, you
I
know.
understand. And we're like at a 5 ISO, that's what our numbers are.
That's your apartment ISO for the whole county, right?
Yeah. No, it's a 5 up to 5 mile radius from a station. Anything outside 5 miles goes to a 9 or 10.
Correct, yes.
But you're within 5 miles of nearly everything.
But villages are poor. But the interlocal agreement among all the departments is up to everybody's.
Yeah, you got what they call automatic control.
Yes.
We'll do all we can.
I understand that.
We'll do all we can.
I'll try to-
Like I said, we've got the 150 we got back from Douche Bank, and then we got the possibility of selling some land at Center 75. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it's a myth that it's gonna ever sell any land there. But if we do, that'll be newfound money, and it could be substantial that we could probably help.
Our agreement, they for the model, is that considered?
They ain't getting it. They're not getting it.
Did we agree
Thanks,
on
Bill.
paying the money?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Go ahead, tell me
Won't you
about
jump?
the grinder pump.
Chief, you wanna talk about the grinder pump too?
He said it is long, you know he wants to talk. Come on, man.
Oh, the grinder pump, yeah, well, they came over and talked to me about it, the construction people for the jail, because our sewer has been going in a tank since the jail started right now, because they took our landfill, or our
Right.
drain field stuff up. So they came and talked to me and asked me what I thought about it, and I said, well, my biggest thing was this building, if we were gonna try and get another building, that would be a saving for the county, that they wouldn't have to put all that money into that grinder, cause
Where are they gonna send it to? Into the jail system?
that's where, the grinder, that was part of.
What's happening right now? We pumping it? They hauling it
Pumping
away?
it 3 days a week out of a tank, it runs straight in a tank beside the building right there.
So we're having that pumped out 3 times a week?
Who's paying for that?
I guess so you all are.
Well, but hang on just a minute. This is your realm. I gotta know, how could it fill up 3 times a week?
It's probably little.
Must be time.
It is, it's 100, it's just like 100.
Oh, okay, 1,000
Small
gallon tank.
tank.
No.
So
It's a real tiny tank.
the grinder pump would send it around and put it into the jail stuff. What kind of cost we talking about?
I don't know.
Well, I don't want to spend any money on that bill because it's short term.
I agree.
I didn't ever hear, I don't know.
Susan, did you have a number on it?
She said,
I did have a number on it, and I thought I had it in the meeting.
It's
he didn't
what,
tell me-
30,
he didn't tell me.
40,000?
That was part of the
Has
deal, I think.
that not been mentioned before?
I've never heard
I was
of
gonna
it.
say, it's
That's a lot. That's expensive.
Well, it costs you $200 to have a 1,000 gallon pump. I don't know what it costs down there.
At our last construction meeting, they said that a decision has to be made on whether or not we're gonna put in a grinder pump, we're just to that stage, or if they're gonna move.
They're gonna move. I don't wanna spend $40,000 to put that thing, and then it's under the parking lot, it's gotta be subterranean all the way around to the back of the jail, and it's just gonna be a problem to deal with all the time, and if you're going in 6 months to a year, we spent 40 grand for absolutely nothing, so I think,
That was what I mean, that was why he come ask me
what,
what's going on. because-
Susan, do you know the cost we're spending to pump it, or is the jail construction paying for the pump, who's paying for the pump?
We don't get a bill for it. If anything-
Somebody's getting a bill for it.
Anything, it's going through the construction.
It must be the construction company, because they actually came in my building and, they put the plumbing in, but the construction guys came in and plumbed it in to the tank. and
Well,
everything.
I mean, again, 1,000 gallon tank's
Construction's gonna be done in
$200.
January.
What about the court?
They're done, but there's some, we get it
But
all
we
done in
can have
January.
it pumped. We have pumped a lot for $40,000.
That's the thing, if you do, then if you don't, all right, they'd have it pumped, dish out for it. I don't think we'll ever get to 40.
No, $200 a pop. If you really want to slow it down, you put a 1,000 gallon tank in there and have it pumped once a month.
I say put a bigger tank.
You put a tank in for nothing. I mean, that's dirt cheap stuff.
Yeah, this one's real small, it's just a little plastic.
That's an old. In the old days, they used to put 50 gallon garbage cans in, 2 or 3 of them.
How big a tank, do you think, how big a tank would it take?
1,000 gallons is
That'd be a
standard.
month, would they get a month out
Oh,
of it?
gosh, yes, for the use they have with
Yeah,
it.
I don't know what the cost is, they never told me, they just come fixed it and told me
Yeah.
this is your sewer, and that's where we was at on, that's where
If
Do
you
we
have
have
to
to
do
bury
anything
everything,
wrong,
or just put it?
yeah, you have to put it in the ground.
It'd be like putting a
Susan, would
septic
you-
tank in the ground.
Susan, would you price us one maybe?
Price of what now?
Have a septic tank put in the
Septic tank.
ground.
A septic tank?
Yep, 1,000 gallon.
Does it need to be a concrete instead of plastic?
Well, they're concrete.
I know, but can you use a plastic?
I think they're more concrete. I think they're a lot more concrete. Those big round ones they use over Telecom Village, 1,000 gallons, I think they're several $1,000, or $5.
Yeah, those are that grinder ball.
Well, that's what they're talking about here, that grinder pump.
That grinder, as far as I understand from construction, they're gonna attach me into the grinder that's gonna be already there for the jail.
Well,
So-
but they gotta get you to it.
That was all it would be the plumbing lines, I guess. over to
How
the
far
grinder.
away is that, I mean, what's the?
Wait a minute, then,
If that's the case, that's a whole different thing.
so the
I can-
grinder's already a part of the jail project.
The grinder should be part of
Oh.
it is.
You're gonna
part
have to
of
get some
the
clarification.
What's the distance you're talking about from your,
I
to the
don't know
grinder?
I don't know where the grinder pump's gonna be located.
Well, right now, it's around back. I can tell you where the current one's at, cause we had to go back and work on it.
This is a new one.
That's for the one at the jail now.
That's right.
They're putting another new one in at the addition.
Well, if all we're doing is tying that on to the grinder pump,
That's
to the
just
jail,
pipe.
that's $50.
Well, a kilo for it.
I don't
I
know,
know, $50.
I don't know any numbers, I've not been told. any.
That's charming.
Let's get some numbers.
20 feet, 3-inch PVC pipe, it don't take a long time. to
I'll go
run.
to NBI tomorrow, find out some space, Wayne.
I've got, how about, since Henry is our man to go to with the jail, how about Henry just go over and talk to the folks and find out where the grinder's gonna be and how far, and let him get the info.
Here's what I think's happening.
Probably a 3-inch PVC.
They're gonna have to put a grinder pump in his tank to pump it around to our system. That's what I think it
That's
is.
probably it.
I can't believe they put the grinder pump on this side of the new jail. Maybe they could, I can't imagine, cause all the sewer's on the back side. Why would you put this on front and have to pump everything around the
Well,
back?
you're trying to run everything over back there, liquefy it for it.
I don't know if everything in the
Just
jail-
give us some details. We got 20 minutes of this thing, we don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I say let him
I don't
go.
know, I can't tell you anymore.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving right along.
Chief, thank you.
Why don't you pull number C out?
And I'm gonna sit here and see because I told my employees I would. An idea, I came
Hey,
up.
Bill,
We got anything on?
fake news Nash.
My number one asset, our number one asset, the county's number one asset is our people. We have established a clean audit 2 years in a row. One of only 6 counties in the state to do it. You know, it's throwing the employees a little bone there. You know, they don't get any kind of bonus. Most of our employees make in the $30,000 a year range. And my idea was to, you know, if we're good enough to get there, we're good enough to get there. That's my 2 cents on it. I think morale is very good for our employees, and just a way to maintain that.
Have you checked the calls for the holiday? Okay.
Boards and committees are,
Is this something you're gonna have up for a vote? You're gonna have this on the agenda to vote on next time?
Yeah.
But he's gotta get a motion in a second to have a vote.
The boards, committees, I'll bring that back to September workshop. I've got a few changes to make. I finished up late this afternoon. I've got 1 or 2 more to do. So doesn't need to be on the agenda.
Got it.
And the Loudon City MOU, talking about the 99-year lease. You cannot have a 99-year lease with a capital project on it. I've talked with Mayor Harris, Ty Ross. We're gonna sit down and hopefully this week or the next and
This is it, Jeremy.
readdress it again. That's the bottom line. State law says, you know, you can't do a 99-year lease with the capital project this side. I don't know if it's all capital projects or what, but that's gotta come off the table. I think this helps give city council maybe, I don't know, an out that some see as unpopular. They give them an out as us transfer the property to us for $1 or, you know, reasonable amount or whatever.
That's all we got left.
$1.
Yeah, well, I don't care, $1, $0,
But I
$10.
think-
It's gotta be a deed
I think this
transfer.
forces the hand that it has to come to us and we have to.
You're hearing the same thing I'm hearing. In September, we're gonna vote to do it. Now, I'm gonna leave it, I don't mean that.
That means you didn't vote to do it.
Well, they voted for the wrong things every time. The last vote
They
was
voted for
pointless.
MOU.
Well, we've got some 99-year leases out there.
Yeah, well, those will have to be dealt with.
Well,
We know we can't do that.
Going forward with this, we can't enter into a 99-year.
And we can't build $7 million bill on top of a 40-year,
No.
lease either.
No.
Cause
What about core samples? Aren't we supposed to be doing core samples?
2 weeks
It is
ago,
on.
2 weeks ago. When are they gonna do it? Cause that could render this whole conversation academic.
They don't have to vote on September if they don't come back positive or in our favor.
What's the word?
SMA's been awarded it, they gotta just get here and do it.
Will you call them all and tell them to do it?
Probably not.
I appreciate your honesty.
Mr. Steele was on.
Nah.
Mr. Steele.
They
Yeah, hey buddy. So you gonna say something,
I'm gonna bring some post
put the fellow from Capitol Village on top of that job.
Susan Husky,
Mr. Steele.
tell us about the transportation contract for the little
He won't
children.
get an email though.
As far as the environmental assessment at the new location, Jay Hinderlot was writing the specs on that, to give to, they have to write specs. People don't understand what you have to go through when you're trying to work.
Are you back to the old courthouse?
No, this is the new
No.
courthouse.
The new
Core
courthouse?
drill, this is core drill.
Core drill,
Give
okay.
SME, but the BBI has to give the yada, yada, yadas.
Well, we're 3 weeks, so yada yada, let's go.
All right, gonna get something slowed down, get the government involved.
That's
All right, bus transportation.
Request approval of a multi-year contract for the school transportation, school bus transportation. That includes our local transportation here as well as the special needs, special education transportation services.
Why does this come to us?
It's a multi-year contract, which would.
Don't they have other multi-year contracts that we don't take up?
No, we usually bring well, if they have them down there that's not come down here, it's because the process hadn't been followed, but, the multi-year contract has to be approved by county commission.
Susan, in discussing or putting this together, the committee for bus drivers, are they in favor of this contract?
As far as I know, they've all signed it, and I was not a part of the negotiations in this. This was all handled by the school board, and approved. I have copies of the minutes of the school board meeting where they approved this contract. This was all negotiated on the board meeting.
People sign the contract, that's on it.
Is it still the same group we've had for the
Yes.
last?
The biggest one's out of Knoxville.
So they approved it out of their money,
Is what?
what they're passing it to the county commission.
They've approved it as far as their end. They have approved this contract, but because it's a multi-year contract, it has to come to county commission for final approval.
It's by mile and by seat.
I think last year we bought 1.6 million, something like that, ballpark.
For this
How much is this one?
contract,
I don't know.
How much is this one?
I don't know what this total contract is. It's based on
There were a couple
per
things
seat,
in
per
there.
mile, and.
Well, somebody somewhere better know a
$8
dollar amount.
$18.
Before I vote to commit, I'd like to kind of know, is it $28 or?
It's
The Smith,
the
that's-
cost is on seat and mile.
And I'll bet you somewhere in there is gonna be not a footnote, but there's gonna be a gas,
Yeah.
provision for a gas surcharge if it reaches a certain price or something.
That's standard in the bus contract.
The Smith bus lines run around
Give me the map.
50-something thousand for just the Smith one.
That's his area.
Look it up.
God forbid there's a wreck on a bus, who's liable for that if somebody gets sued?
We
The
have-
county gets sued or just?
We have
They have
insurance.
insurance.
But who, right here it says $1 million, 5 million umbrella.
They sue everybody. We had a lady killed down here on Highway 11 just a few years ago, head over the bus, and I think they sued everybody involved, bus owners, bus drivers, bus creators.
Bus
County.
contractor went out of business.
No, they don't ever sue us, I don't think.
They'll sue everybody.
I don't know, I don't think they ever got us.
I don't know.
I don't know if they named the BOE, there was a lot of,
Yeah,
them.
I don't know what they ever did with that one.
It ended up being what it was, yeah.
Anybody can be sued.
Okay, Susan, come back with a number, total number, and we'll put it on the agenda for September 3rd.
Is it in our packet, the contract in our packet?
Yes.
It's on the website, it's in the packet.
So the numbers are there.
Hey, Pandora, we're not done yet. We-
I thought you wrote that.
No, we got another hour.
I thought the
I'm
numbers were
kidding.
there.
Go ahead,
Numbers in
go
the
ahead.
contract?
They're numbers are there, now, I didn't write them out.
You gotta have the total here,
Total annual cost, I didn't calculate that out.
Go, Pandora, go.
You asked them, you asked,
No, so we have one more.
asked them to write us up a total
I
number.
do, the Smith bus line runs a little over 50-something thousand.
Call it what I hear it does, seat and mile.
The others I do not know, but I know the cost.
Buses.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
I thought that was going to the budget committee.
Well,
That's not what we decided.
Budget committee recommended it, you can have it.
Are we mad at, so
It's
let's
usually
look about
under your name
our
on the
retiree
agenda.
insurance.
The retiree insurance, has it's still there's an increase this year, but it's still less than the cost was in 2018. That's what we said.
Nobody better complain. We're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan.
Gary Whitfield, tell us about the Frienders community.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to do this pretty quick. First, I want to thank Commissioner Mears for his talk about the Frienders community. That's a long-time community, nice area, great community that's trying to stay together and work together. We have a voting precinct down here that's just absolutely falling apart. And really today, we want to just kind of talk about it and figure out a solution. This is the first thing I've brought to commission, so I'm trying to feel my way through this thing, but just really asking permission to maybe go out, get some bids, get some guidance on how to handle this building from here forward. I think we're at the point where the building's gonna have to be demoed.
That's the pricing part.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna have to rebuild this, the voting precinct. To have this thing
Have we talked about this demolishing the gym part and?
Well, David Matlock went down, and when you do that much, you've gotta bring it into ADA compliance. Well, there's a ramp, you couldn't run a wheelchair up that ramp if you had a motor on it, it sits about like it. And you're better off, I mean, when we say it's off the side, we're talking, almost as wide as this table, the wall's sitting off the side of the foundation, they've got road.
I've been under the floor, I've seen it.
Vans
Move your
underneath.
county truck up to this point down.
So we were talking about the metal,
asbestos.
we were talking about the metal building.
If we can get moving forward, destroying this one, getting this one down, ideally, you throw a match on it and let the fire and rescue, Loudon County Fire and Rescue practice. You can't do that in the state of Tennessee anymore, you can't burn nothing, that just blows my mind.
Can I interject at this point?
But we still have the steel in it, and we're looking at replacing it with a metal building. Yes.
I'm gonna whiz on your party a little bit right here. I hate to, but, as far as the community center, albeit great, wonderful, I hope they do and they have a community center. As far as needed for a voting precinct, I've got 9 years of elections down here. It's only used on election day, early voting's not down there. So the biggest election they've had on a vote on election day down there in 9 years was the Trump election of November of 2016, and 195 people voted at that voting center. 195 is what I got, so whatever, 199, 195, whatever it was, that's what voted on election day. The people in Luttrell are closer to Philadelphia voting precinct than the people in Hines Creek are to the Eagle Crossroads precinct. The people in Luttrell are closer to Philadelphia than the people in Rarity Bay are to Davis. So in the day of horse and buggies.
They have early voting though, at the LoCo building if they want to participate.
Well, that's fine, but day of, they got early voting in Loudon. But to justify this, to justify spending any money down there other than demolition to build a community center, we have many communities. We have a lot of places that would like to have community centers, and I think we set a pretty good precedent. We go to Luttrell's and build a community center on the pretense that we gotta have it for a voting precinct. Well, Rarity Bay may want one, so they can have voting in Rarity Bay if you want to just put it there. My folks down Hines Creek, they may want a little one down at the old one.
They've never had one, this one was established.
Oh, yeah, they did, they used to go to Providence, oh, yeah, they used to
In
go,
my lifetime,
they used to go to Pine Grove down
but
there.
this is the only thing this community has.
I have no problem with that, but it's not our responsibility. We don't take tax dollars and build community
And
centers.
we're not asking for a gymnasium.
You're asking for
dome.
$50,000 to $100,000.
To build it, I'll
Yes.
probably be around 45 to 50.
No. This little building down on the thing was $250,000, but.
I respect where you're coming from, but this is part of Loudon County. They're entitled to something as any other community.
What other community has that, David?
Glendale.
It's
Glendale's
part
it?
of Loudon County.
Well, I mean, so is
And
every,
they're
what I'm
taxed.
looking at is the precedent here. You're gonna go down there and drop
If we can-
$100,000.
No, I know. Let's be physically responsible and try to help them as much as we can.
Well, that, I don't have a problem with that, but still, if we do anything, I'm not picking on you. It's just pure physical numbers, right here they are. If you wanna go, in August of 2016, they had 20 voted on election day. So I mean, you're
August
talking.
what?
16.
This is still county property.
Yes.
We went back and forth, it was county board of education, then it went to the church, and when the church bailed out on it, the county took it back.
It's the last, it's really it and Greenback are the last two bastions of our farming community.
Our farming community.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm a farmer, I like to have a community center at my place,
Why?
because I wanna have a voting precinct.
Well, maybe we can get the Martell Utility District house.
See, we'll have to buy the Martell Utility District.
I'm not buying anything, said they'll give it to us.
For Adam, I just think it's a very dangerous precedent
This
to
is
be building.
a piece of land on our property.
Okay, let me tell you what let's do. Separate it from voting. Do not pin this to vote. You cannot claim you need this for a voting precinct. If you're gonna do this, then you sell it as, we're gonna build Luttrell a community center. If we use it
It's
for
gonna be a voting precinct.
that's fine, but that's not why we're building it, because you don't need it.
It can be voted.
You don't need it for a voting precinct. So
Who
let's
determines
not,
where they want that?
Philadelphia.
Who determines the
Susan
If
Harrison.
we went away from the every registered voter, which it would be a huge amount of money, every registered voter, that it would, is districted to local would have to receive, is on a certified registered voter letter.
What's the total registered voters in Luttrell?
But if we, it'll be hard if we have anything in place there other than, it'll be risky come March 2020. If unless, we're miraculously get it moving in a hurry.
What, to build something?
You can't have it torn down by March, that's the next election.
So I think, but nowadays, it's
You can't get it torn down at the time.
the gymnasium part of it is locked, it's secured. They can't get to it. I think we'll be all right moving through that one, but.
They voted the little part now.
By the time 2022 rolls around, hopefully we'll either have a yes or no. At the least, at the very least, it's a risk to even keep standing. That's exactly what David Matlock, MBI said. I wouldn't let people go in anything, especially in the gymnasium part. The kitchen side is pretty solid. It's coming down regardless. That's the bottom line.
I don't disagree with any of it, but the tax.
Kitchen side stayed up or the gymnasium side?
Kitchen side. It's this
come
big
that way.
square gymnasium from the early 1900s, and then they added on this end, I don't know, I heard her say when, they added on a meeting room, kitchens, bathrooms, and they used the end wall of the gym for one of the walls of the new kitchenette, meeting, community center type thing. The gymnasium's been past use for years. I'm not opposed, I think it's great, but taxpayers from all over Loudon County shouldn't have to pay to build a community center in Loudon.
And one important thing, to see the spirit of this group that have tried to continue the operation of this facility, we can try to work with them, and we don't have to build a Taj Mahal. I think we can be.
Building that on the river.
If we have land.
Something about this just sticks in my mind. We can't keep doing it, but again, I just ask you one favor. Call it what it is. We're gonna build a community center on the local.
That's also a voting.
That's fine, it'll be a couple, but we're not building a voting precinct in Luttrell.
Well, they're the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're the same thing.
Cause you could build it for a quarter if it was just a voting precinct.
How?
Tiny.
A quarter?
A quarter of the size, of what you're talking
You'd
about.
have to have bathrooms.
That's right.
You have to have ADA compliant
But
trains.
you'll do it for $40,000.
You can build what you want for that.
You can't touch it for $40,000.
Oh, easy.
So, but, I mean, that's
It's
what I wanna
open
go.
space.
So we're gonna find, I wanna get a quote, I wanna see what it costs.
Yeah, I mean, you're not asking for a vote
I'm
next
not asking
next
for a vote.
meeting.
You're not asking for a vote,
But
find out what it's gonna
David's
cost.
long-term, Harold's the longest term, I come second. When you do this, you just get ready. How do you turn the next one down? How do you turn the next one down?
Are they a voting precinct? Is it county property?
Who knows? But you're not building a vote precinct, buddy, you're building a community center.
I disagree, I'm not sitting here trying to build.
Can you
And
vote,
I'm
can
not-
you move to Philadelphia, can you physically have a Luttrell
Well, we
vote
can
in
move,
Philadelphia?
we can move the Broward to all into North, for that matter.
It is.
Or what
It
vice
already
versa.
is.
We can move all them up there to that, we can move them up here to the rescue squad building.
Yeah.
Up here to Justice.
You can do it wherever you want.
You can do it wherever you
Well,
want.
Susan's choice is,
But it might
but
be-
the argument is they have to drive too far.
Yeah.
They wouldn't drive as far to Philadelphia as I say my folks in Fifth District drive and the folks in Rarity Bay drive. So the driving argument's out the window.
Very few Rarity Bayers vote anyway.
Just telling you. Okay, I'm done.
I got it, I
It's a
have an issue I need to discuss, it's not on the agenda.
Oh my God, are we still done with agenda? Are we on the agenda or are we done?
Done.
I had a constituent call me Saturday saying that a criminal warrant issue
It's time for Tracy.
for him on land that his family's maintained for, I'm sorry.
Finish it up quick.
For 38 years. And buddy, you're part of this.
This is a big deal. I've heard this.
Let me go ahead, I think I know where you're going, has possible potential litigation.
I understand, we're
On
gonna talk
action that
about
was
it.
taken by commission in 1990.
No, it was not.
That's
No, it
not
was
correct.
The vote itself was.
No.
Right, so let's talk about it then. So here,
I am not.
you don't have to,
Not in public.
you don't have to.
There's no lawsuit filed against Loudon County of any
It's
kind.
pending, it may be
There's
pending.
nothing pending against Loudon County. This is a grade A mess here.
Yeah.
Listen close.
I wouldn't talk about it here. I wouldn't talk about it.
I think we got enough. We got no legal action.
In 1996, the orange and yellow was deeded to the county. In 98, the orange was abandoned by the county. In April of this year, the yellow was signed over to J.C. Hatchman without ever being abandoned by the county.
It's a road, paper road.
It's a paper road. So all I'm asking for is it to be, the deed to be ruled invalid, have Bob only undo the deed.
Well, if there's litigation, we.
There's not
There is no
There is no
litigation.
litigation.
The man's got a criminal arrest warrant filed
Because
against him
he
for mowing his yard.
That he's made, his dad improved that land for that road to be built, that was never built. He has an adverse possession. I talked to my boss, who's a real estate attorney, he said that adverse possession is a possible claim to that.
Oh, that's all, that's something that
We need to have that deed. If Bob represents you, and I get that. If we need to take action to do it on our own, with another attorney, we can. But David Hawk should not be going to court on Wednesday for mowing land his family's maintained for 38 years. It's never been abandoned by the county. The orange part has. Mike Campbell said as much on Friday. The surveyor called me scared to death saying it hadn't been abandoned. Like, oh God, I was just doing what somebody told me to do.
Who told him?
I'm not going into that.
Say it.
No.
She's not here. Laura told Jimmy Hare to do it. I'll tell you, this thing's got nasty all over it. This man had a criminal complaint filed against him, and he's got to go to court for mowing his yard because it was representing the planning commission.
No, there's
that
not.
they did
There are not moving.
This is simple. The planning commission,
You got to.
the planning commission got to do it.
The planning commission didn't even abandon the
I
yellow
know
part.
that. But they thought they were better than the green part.
The yellow part.
Yellow part.
The orange was abandoned in
We'll give it
1998.
back.
So I think we need to talk about this.
Who's suing, who's taking it?
This yellow part was signed over to the lady J.C. Hatchman because she wanted it for whatever reason, and she got it.
It was her family land prior, and it was split up.
They're gonna work tomorrow.
Back together, the land,
Uh-oh,
everything was supposed to go back.
it's only Tuesday.
She's the one that's having this guy taken to court on Wednesday for mowing land they've maintained for 38 years.
We're gonna do that there.
And so should the county, because we gave the land away when we shouldn't have.
Buddy signed the deed, right?
On action voted on in 1991.
No, the yellow part was
They
never,
didn't-
That's what I
that's
signed on, was whatever the thing was, it was voted on by a commission in 1996.
Show him what was voted on. The piece that was voted on was closed in 1998. What you signed the deed on has never been closed. You gave away the paper road when you signed it.
Then it'll be invalid when it comes out to wash anyway.
But
didn't tell
Bob
them how to
Hogan's
do it.
invalidated.
Because it's gonna end up it's already gonna end up in a lawsuit.
Well, this shouldn't even be there. David Hawk should not be having to spend money on this and going before a judge and the DA on Wednesday. I mean, that's what happened.
Why
in
can't
98.
Bowman undo this?
I've seen it all. I know exactly what it is.
Well, the yellow
And
part was,
according to,
But you're going on
well,
what
the
she
title
told
company and
you.
everybody else,
the
the
title
title
company.
company told me it was good.
Well, it
No,
was
who was your title company?
Right down here on the corner.
Clayton Tangle.
Clayton
No.
Payne. Clayton Payne.
Clayton Payne
He made the quick
prepared
claim
the
deed,
deed.
didn't he? Clayton
Yeah, he did,
Payne
right here.
wrote the quick claim deed.
Right here, Victor C. Pangle II, attorney at law.
Gene Darnell is who I spoke with.
This instrument was prepared by Victor C. Pangle II, attorney at law. That's what it says.
Is this something Bob can unwind?
Oh, it needs to unwind it because it wasn't done right. Anytime we've
Would you
ever,
give him a call
Yeah.
tomorrow?
every time we've abandoned a road, a road, it's been split 50-50 by people on both sides.
And we
But
voted.
this was nice, and what makes this unique was that the original landowners, which is the Hackman family, are the ones that provided the space for the road.
But it was deeded over the county as a road like any other road is.
I'm
And the
double
Hawks,
checking
and the
these.
Hawks maintained it for
Checking
38 years, and David Hawk's dad is the one that graded the land and prepared the land, improved the land.
This-
He has an adverse possession claim. A legitimate one.
Which is it. And I know Larry. I don't know that. I know Larry. And I'm no way, shape, or form would I try to screw them out of anything.
Well,
Well,
that
they
way
are.
you try to screw anybody out of anything. This,
He's
somebody
on
told a whole lot of stuff
court
that wasn't
on
true.
Wednesday.
Worked out.
I won't call no names, but somebody represented this to the planning commission, and what they told the planning commission was, I want you to give me this land that was, the road closed in 98. Well, that was fine, that was done, but this what you gave her has never been closed. You gave her a county road.
That's never been abandoned.
Okay. It sounds like a job for Bob Bowman.
Bob got a lot on his plate, don't
Yeah, he does.
he? Anybody look at legal fees last year?
Boy, dude.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We're changing that right now.
Back up.
We got him on retainer now, we don't have to pay him.
At your service.
Tracy Blair, take us to the budgets.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Nothing complicated on this one.
There will be application and acceptance of a grant, it's the DGA grant for health department employees, there are no matching funds. You received a copy of this along with the budget amendments, and what this is in committee recommendations. This is the capital projects committee recommendation on the $200,000 that's appropriated in the current year budget. In the budget that we adopted, this is all in capital projects and in the fiscal year 20 sub-fund as one total amount, the $200,000 that was recommended by the budget committee. Because at the time of budget adoption, the capital projects committee had not completed their recommendation of which projects to fund. And that's what this is right here. The budget committee recommends what the capital projects committee is recommending. So I'll prepare, it's really a line adjustment, it doesn't require commission approval, but I will show you that information on one of my spreadsheets as an amendment. You also have,
Where's the other 19,000? Is it down here with this?
the other 19,000 will
That's where
just,
it's in case, or is it just left over?
is just left over. It'll be budgeted so that it can be appropriated as necessary, but it'll come back through county commission and budget committee for that. Same thing we did last year. You have spreadsheets in funds 101, 131, and 141. They're pretty much self-explanatory.
Hold on.
The budget committee also talked about a $100,000, it's called a premium holiday. It's like a credit from Cigna, our health insurance company. That will be put in a reserve, and the interest that it earns through the trustees' investments will be added to it so that we will have it set aside separately for insurance expenses next fiscal year, just in case they increase, and they are anticipated to increase.
Harold, this remind me of the good old days, 11/11/30, when we went through.
Oh, yeah. This was ever me.
Okay,
Mayor, no, Mayor,
Uh-oh.
can you pick a date for the, Adam, them to meet, for their?
Adam's got everybody in trouble.
If y'all wanna have, you shoot me an email, I'll have Anita advertise.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm not even going, I'm not working back.
okay, I'll call for an adjournment,
So
put
you just
in
pick
your
the date.
overtime
See what happens.
slips.
Is there a date that's better?
No.
It's like a Monday or
I'll send
Tuesday?
an email on
You
everybody.
cannot have a committee meeting when everybody can be there. You gotta call it and who can show up.